Well, we are back after the summer for the Unapologetic Podcast. I'm still Brandt Merritt.
I'm still Jonathon Woodyard.
Yeah, this might be the longest gap we've gone between recordings, so it's good to be back.
It is.
And it's good to be in a new space. So if you're watching this, we are in our new studio. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Kudos to you and some of your team that's been helping getting this.
Yeah, putting the tables together and stuff, student workers over the summer. What's cool is you can't see this on the camera, but that's a glass behind Brandt is just a glass wall with a door that goes out into the student union. So it'll be fun to sit here. I don't know if have we just decided that I'll be on this side? You'll be on this side. I don't know. Right. But I'll be able to see students, and I'm sure that will be funny and there'll be some funny things. I'm sure they'll walk by, make faces, wave. And we'll have
so if you see us get distracted and look off in the distance, because there's also windows this way to the outside. Yeah. So, I mean, we might have, it could be like Good Morning America. We could have people lined up with posters.
Car wreck in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Who knows what
you never know what could happen. Yeah. So excited to be in the new studio. It's definitely another symbol of a start of a new year, which is great. We came into wanting to record this, planning to talk about England, which we went to over the summer, study abroad, which we will, and other things that have happened over the summer. SBC, we were in Orlando. Yep. There's been camps, a whole bunch of things have happened over the summer. But if you do follow SBU closely, if you're a student or alumni, you know the big news over the last month has been the announcement that Dr. Melson, our president, has been selected to be the new president of Moody Bible Institute, which is amazing opportunity for him.
Such a legacy school.
But major transition for us. Yep. And you have been chosen as interim president to serve in this next season as we work through what's next for SBU. Sure. So we will talk about that and in some detail for sure, because we know that's major news in any institution, but especially for SBU. We want to kind of walk through a little bit of what their transition's been like on our end, some of the things that you're already starting to think about and work on. So we will get to the transition and talk about Dr. Melson and his legacy, what he's meant to us, which is a lot. But before we get to that, we do want to still kind of recap summer because there's been a lot happening. So maybe we step back before we get to England, talk through some of the other things, SBC, camps that we've had, other stuff that's going on. Any of those highlights you'd want to
I just really appreciated the trip to Orlando. The Southern Baptist Convention for me is just a highlight of my year. It has been for 20 years or so, just going to the annual meeting where, if you don't know, Southwest Baptist University is a Missouri Baptist school. So we're a state school, but we're a Southern Baptist school. And so every year you plan and prepare, and we set up a booth in the convention hall, which is massive. I mean, it's like Disney World.
It is huge.
Yeah, it's so big. But we set up a booth, and we see so many friends and alumni, friends of the university and people that we know. So it's a highlight to go down there and be able to see people who I've done ministry with for so long, but also to talk about the great things that are going on here at SBU. And so that's always a lot of fun, highlight for me. This year, Gina had a chance to go with me, and she was able to see she's been in the same world that I have for the last 20 years or so. So she is able to see people that know her and like her more than they like me. So, they say, oh, you brought the best half. And so that was fun. That was special. And always enjoy getting to hang out with you and Leon and Darren and obviously Rick was there. Katie Dunham goes with us. So it's a good time, I think, for our team to spend some time together, but also go and talk about the great things that SBU is doing and just give our constituents, give our friends, give our supporters just more reason to hope in the good things that are going on here in Missouri.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And we had some alumni and just friends of the university that participated in a panel with us, which was great to talk about Christian higher education. Dr. Andrew Walker was there. Denny Burke was there.
Yeah, Andrew, Denny, Dean, and Sarah. All of them love what we're doing. Dean has been here a couple of times to preach in chapel. He's a friend. Denny, from afar, is a big supporter, president of the Council of Biblical Manhood and Womanhood, and it's fun to engage with him. But Andrew Walker, an alumni of here, and is now the dean of the School of Theology at Southern Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. So to have them on a panel with Dr. Melson and just be able to engage them, ask them questions about the culture and the different things we're experiencing. It was a lot of fun. And I think, I heard from some people there in attendance after that, it's just more encouragement for them that we are headed in the right direction in terms of ideology, theology, cultural engagement. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. I had some issues with some of our stuff getting shipped there. So my my days got a little hectic the first. If you've ever helped organize a convention booth, the trials and tribulations of shipping, and we lost some things. You still are missing cushions from your sofa that we brought from the office. So, that other than that, it was a great trip. Close to home for me. It was great to see family and be near Disney, which made my daughters jealous because they miss being an hour from Disney. Right. But that was great. Then we had some family trips. Camps were busy across campus all summer. Those are full. People may not realize, but that's a really important part of our year when you go into the summer for a number of reasons. Number one, to have 5,000 or so kids, everything from small kids to high school students on the campus through the year, and them to get to experience the campus of SBU. One, people are growing in their faith, right? The camps that come here are Christian camps. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of activity, but there's a lot of spiritual development. That's a lot of discipleship. A lot of discipleship that's going on through these camps. And so when we walk around and maybe they're tearing up our grass or, something gets broken, and my heart is like, okay, let's be careful with all that. But lives are being changed. That's what we're in the business of doing here at this institution, shaping students. And that just in the summer gives us an opportunity to shape, or at least be part of shaping maybe a different demographic or age group. Yeah. So that's fun to see so many kids come through here. And then some of them end up saying, I loved my experience there. I think I want to go to college there. So I was on the phone yesterday with a mutual friend of ours who works for the Missouri Baptist Convention, and his daughter and his son were at camps this year and come back talking about, hey, I think I want to go to school at SBU. And so that's another kind of feeder for us. So the camps were busy. The summer team that runs those camps, Christina Hart, her student workers, they just knock it out. People over and over and over again would just share with me how responsive they were, how professional they were, and just how servant-minded they were. So super thankful for them and all the good work they do. And then, across campuses, not even just the Bolivar campus, our regional campuses, our admissions teams, my team is working to get students through for all of our different programs. So that work doesn't stop over the summer. Our coaches are still recruiting hard over the summer and even getting students here doing workouts and things on campus. So campus is not dead by any means over the summer. There's a lot happening.
DPT still continues through the summer, so they had their summer term. So down in Springfield, you still had future doctors of physical therapy continuing their coursework. So all that stuff still going on across all of our campuses.
Yeah. And then we went to England. We can tie them a little bit together because, I mentioned, we'll talk about the presidential transition just on a timing angle, so everyone maybe can see what our world has been like a little bit. Dr. Melson's announcement to us internally, the board of trustees making a decision on what they were going to do next and choosing an interim, us announcing publicly Dr. Melson's transition. So just that part, when we made the public announcement, I was in Philadelphia in the airport on my way to London. You were already in London, ready to receive us. So all this is happening as we're getting ready to leave to go overseas. But the trip itself, we just talk about that for a minute. I mean, we've been planning this for a while. We had 14 students or alumni with us, then staff, leaders, and we just did a ton of stuff. So recap again the vision for it, why we were doing this, and we can talk about what we did.
So if you go back and step back and think about the trip, like why would you go to London, England? Well, there are different types of trips you can take. A lot of people know that we have the Center for Global Connection, and that's been a really important part of SBU and will be an important part of SBU moving forward. And so through the Center for Global Connection, we are sending mission trips, right? We're going to sending teams literally around the world in order to serve other people, whether it's sharing the gospel or doing some type of social type ministry, working in an orphanage, whatever the case may be. Lots of different types of ministries that we do. So that's a type of trip. But in higher education, there are also study trips, study abroad opportunities where we want to take students to different parts of the world to encounter and see history. Learn about different peoples, learn about different cultures, learn about history. How did they get where they are? And so the idea of this trip, it wasn't housed in the Center for Global Connection. That's more missiology. This was housed in the Center for Worldview and Culture, which is another center here where we're trying to instill a Christian worldview in the hearts and minds of students and teach them about engaging culture. Well, part of that is just helping them see history, helping them see other places, expanding their horizons. And so that's something we plan to do hopefully every summer as the Lord allows moving forward. And this was the first kind of inaugural trip where we're going to get students out of the United States and go to England and think about cultural history, political history, religious history, so that they can see some of what has shaped them, whether they know it or not. England itself has had such an influence, right? I mean, where did the United States come from? Even in terms of Christianity, such an influence on us today. So that's the idea. Get them somewhere else, learn, grow as individuals, as human beings, expand their horizons, see what God is doing in different places, see how those places have impacted them, and maybe they don't even know it. So that's the idea, vision behind it. Next summer, hopefully we'll go somewhere else. We're talking about Rome, studying Romans this year, and then taking a group to Rome. And that's even older, right, in a lot of ways, right? History, thinking through the impact of the things going on in Rome on us today. So that's the idea. And so when we went to London, we wanted to, and students can take these trips for credit. And we had some students do that. And so there's reading and writing requirements for that sort of stuff. So this year was go to London, go to Oxford, go to Cambridge, see those three centers of really important places of history, and come back. So that's the idea behind it. Yeah. It's not just a party. It's not just a hey, let's just go tourism. We sat around in the evenings. You gave a talk on the kind of political history and differences between their system and the American system. I did a few talks. When we first got there, talked about England and how to understand it. I did a little kind of impromptu discussion with a smaller group on church history and how we get from 12 disciples to, 1,200 denominations, that sort of thing. So all that type of learning is going on while we're there. And we just want to continue to do this.
Yeah, and so much of it is just immersive in being there. We go to Westminster Abbey or the Tower of London, or when we go to Oxford and Cambridge, there's either a tour guide walking us through, or there's self-guided, audio tours, or just all the displays. And so you're just sort of immersing yourself in all this history the whole time. And just the things that it's just so old. I mean, you really...
Who went through the covered market? The covered market in Oxford was 2 years younger than the United States, older than the United States. It's like we're walking through a covered market that's active, restaurants, food. And this place has been operating longer than our nation has been in existence, which was really cool.
Yeah, and that going in, but this was my first time over there. And so experiencing it for the first time, this really is, you get off a modern train in a major downtown of a city that could be Chicago or New York or anywhere else, and you walk 100 yards and there's a wall that Romans built. Right. 2,000 years ago. Yeah. But then you the interesting connections that was making and seeing, walking through Westminster Abbey in particular, or the Tower of London, you start to see all the kings. Mm-hmm. And you start to think through how that does maybe influence or impact how we think, or how someone like C.S. Lewis or Tolkien thought as they're writing Lord of the Rings or Narnia, and what a king looked like, what Aslan represented, or just we don't have a king. We don't have a reference of
no kings.
When Scripture, no kings. When Scripture says Lord and King, that meant something different to them. Sure. And so you see that history displayed, and it's okay. I mean, that's a
so take one little piece of things, and even I was reading a couple of reflection papers by a couple of the students that took it for credit. Maybe the last thing I'll say about England is trying to tie some things together to show them how historically places like Oxford shaped them. So you go back and you think, who studied at Oxford? Well, so many people, right? But if you just pick one, that a lot of people are familiar with. You pick C.S. Lewis. Lewis was at Oxford. At some point in his life, Lewis is going to write Surprised by Joy. Lewis is going to unpack certain realities. He's going to have an influence years later on a guy named John Piper. John Piper becomes a pastor, author, theologian in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and has a massive influence, right? His ideas of Christian hedonism. God is most glorified in us when we are most satisfied in him, right? So all those types of things. Well, several years into his ministry at Bethlehem Baptist Church in downtown Minneapolis, he hires a staff member. That staff member's name is Rick Melson. So Rick and Tammy Melson are now at Bethlehem being influenced by John Piper. Rick leaves. But while Rick is there, he gets to know a guy named Ryan Griffith. Ryan is still there when years later, another guy shows up, and that's Jonathon, right? So I show up, and now I build a relationship with Ryan. I'm being influenced by Piper. I'm drinking at the fire hydrant of Christian hedonism. I want us to be happy in Jesus. I want us to pursue joy in Christ. And so we're getting to know each other. And then years later, SBU, Southwest Baptist University, which I've never heard of at this point, calls a new president, Rick Melson, who has been influenced by Piper, who was influenced by Lewis, who studied at Oxford. And then Rick's here. Now he hires a guy named Ryan Griffith to be chief of staff. They call me. I end up here. And a lot of what I talk about, a lot of what I say, a lot of what Rick would have said in the past would have been things that were filtered maybe through John, through Lewis, via the Apostle Paul and the Bible, right? All these biblical realities. But just to say, you're standing in Oxford, and somebody who studied here has impacted you in ways you never even knew. And just that historical context, I think, is neat to see. And you can multiply that by 1,000 in the sense of the ways that the English Reformation, English theologians have impacted American Christians in the West. So that was fun to see. And a couple of them even mentioned it in their reflection papers of hearing things like that. Just kind of, oh man, I've been impacted by so many different people and didn't even know it.
Yeah, that's amazing to be able to see it in person. And the last thing I'll say on it, we talk a lot about students first is like what we want to focus on here at SBU. I don't get as much time to interact with students, and my role as you've had up here, and to be on a trip where you're with a dozen plus students and you just get to see them grow and experience. You get to just hang out with the students more. Was a pretty cool experience on our end too. So that's a good little segue. You talked about the progression to SBU, Dr. Melson, you being here. So we mentioned it. This episode will be publishing after Dr. Melson has sort of had his last farewell day in the office at SBU as he gets ready to go to Moody. And you are now, as people are watching this, officially serving as interim president. So this is a new season for SBU. And the university has been through, any university at different times, but SBU in particular has been through interim periods. And they always bring challenges and questions and opportunities and exciting things that come with it. So as we've walked through the last few weeks, and as you've had a chance to talk with faculty and staff yesterday, kind of in front of everyone earlier this week, we're not stopping. I think that, as we talk about what's next, there's a lot that Dr. Melson has put in place, not just the team, but a vision and a direction that, we want to continue to steward from the Board of Trustees on down, because it's the right mission. It's the right direction that he's brought us in. So maybe kind of starting there, and before we get into really what we're thinking next, Dr. Melson's done a lot for SBU that we've had a chance internally to honor, but I think publicly want to make sure that we recognize as well. Yeah,
we certainly want to thank God for him bringing us here, working for him. He's been an empowering leader. He's given us the reins of so many things, and pointed us in a direction and said, go. And it's been freeing. I've learned a lot under him. He's given me a lot of things to do that I never knew how to do. You step into food service and overseeing that contract, or, overseeing safety and security, or whatever the case may be. And I go from all these different meetings, just learning so much. So thankful that he gave me a job here. Thankful that he let me kind of run with the discipleship of students and kind of thinking through those co-curricular things, and also challenging me in a lot of different ways by giving me opportunities to do things that I didn't really know how to do, but to grow into them. So super thankful for him. And I am excited for him. I'm happy for him and Tammy.
Yeah.
It really is an amazing thing to step into the leadership of a legacy school like Moody. I mean, it's, Moody has had ups and downs like every institution, but historically just such a force for evangelicalism around the world, literally, not just through school, but they're more than that.
Right.
They're a publishing house. They've got broadcasting. So they've got their Moody Radio and Moody Publishing, and all that's just part of what he's going to oversee. So thankful for him, thankful for the opportunities he's given us. We're thankful for the direction he's pointed us. I mean, the idea of unapologetic, we are unapologetically a Christ-centered institution. That's his language. That's not his truth, right? That's who we are and have been since the founding. But he's emphasized that. He's kind of recovered, in a sense, some of that kind of distinctiveness, and so we want to honor that. And I think the best way to honor it is to keep running down that track. We are not going to move an inch, at least as long as I have the opportunity to lead in this interim period, not move 1 inch from our unapologetically Christ-centered educational posture. That's who we are. That's our identity. We're a confessional school. We're a Missouri Baptist school. We're accountable to Missouri Baptist churches. And we want to be faithful stewards of what has been entrusted to us. And so that's my hope. And I think that's a way to honor Dr. Melson and honor our legacy. So I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, and it was funny. The communications director at Moody, as he and I are working on how the announcements are going to go out, he's picking my brain.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about Dr. Melson. What kind of leader is he? And I think we all would say this: the most optimistic, forward-looking leader that I've ever worked with, which has been such a blessing for us. When, as we've talked about, every organization has challenges. There's always things that we're wrestling with or that are difficult to work through. And then, he is going to stay up above, keeping us focused, where it's so easy for us in the trenches to just, oh my gosh, all these problems that we got to try to fix sometimes. And he's like, we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to be optimistic.
That's a problem, but man, look at the good things that are going on.
So, I mean, for me to take that away from him and just try to continue to instill that in my leadership style of, it's important to continue to have that optimism, that vision, and just, thankful that it is a great team that he's brought. He really did an awesome job in pulling some of us together. Then now we get to continue moving forward. So in that vein, you have been entrusted by the Board of Trustees to serve in this next season, and in conversations that I've had with them and that you certainly have had with them, that's their charge too, as we want to keep moving forward with the mission and the direction that we're going, knowing that it's a little bit different. It's not going to maybe move as fast on some things and et cetera. But as you talked to faculty and staff earlier this week, what are some of the themes that you're wanting to focus on, just so people can kind of get a sense as they're continue to think of how to pray for SBU or come around to support SBU? These are the things we want to try to emphasize in the coming year.
Yeah, so I just want to be a good steward of what's been entrusted. I think we've said that. Let's not let the ball drop. Let's keep our mission in front of us. If I can do that from the president's office for however long this interim period lasts, let's remind who we are. Who we are as an institution, who we've been historically, where we're going. That sort of stewardship will be important. I want to build relationships with people. I've heard that from a number of people on the phone and in person, encouraging people in their work, championing them as they're doing good things in the classroom or in their departments. So I want to be a champion. And then I want to be out, and this is something others have said, just out telling the story of the good things that are going on here. So those are some of the things I want to do. But in terms of focus, in terms of emphasis, as we've sat down, we had a long time to talk about this because we literally found out I was going to be the interim when I got a phone call early in the morning. I'm in London, England, in the bed. It's 3:45 a.m. I was awake, but because jet lag. But I get a phone call at 3:45 a.m. I'm in England. You all aren't there yet. We're there getting things ready at the house.
We're leaving groceries. The next morning.
You're leaving at
10 o'clock my time at night. Yeah.
And so we find out. And so, but in God's providence, maybe the good thing about that is I find out I'm going to be the interim president. I'm out of the country. I'm not in the office. I don't have the hustle and bustle of the camp thing going on in the last few camps. Don't have people stopping by to see me, ask me, what are you thinking, all that stuff, which has happened since I've been back. But just kind of quiet. I mean, we had 20 people with us on the trip, but this opportunity to sit on the train as we were going to Oxford or Cambridge or wherever we were moving around to and kind of think a little bit has been helpful. And as we've done that, some things have emerged that we've got to focus on this year. So I put it, I'm a Baptist preacher.
A good pastor. Yep.
Yeah. So I've used 3 N's: numbers, names, and next. So what does that mean? Numbers, names, and next. So when I think about numbers, what do we need to focus on this year? Well, numbers, we need to focus on 2 things: budget and enrollment, right? We need to make sure to get a handle on our finances. We need to be fiscally responsible and pay attention to revenue and expenses and cash flow, and come up with creative ways to maybe cut expenses or raise revenue, all those things, right? So we need to get a handle on our budget, and everybody knows that. In this Christian higher education, every institution is trying to pay attention to finances, right? So I want to make sure I'm stewarding those things well and helping us through this season. On the enrollment side, we want to, if we think about recruiting and retention, right, we need to recruit more and more students. We want to show that and kind of offer to the public, hey, this is a place you can trust. This is a place where your student will get a seriously Christian education. We will shape them holistically and prepare them for the world. So one of the things I'm thinking and saying, and I've said to you a lot, and this is not original to me, I've been saying this for years because I got it from somebody else, but we want to shape mature men and women who are ready for the world, right? So we want to take these kind of immature kids sometimes that show up here, turn them into mature men, mature women, and prepare them to make a Christ-exalting impact in this kind of chaotic, fallen world. Yeah. So we want to do that. And I think that message we want to share with people and say, hey, send your kids here. That's the recruiting side. And however we can leverage the president's office to support your work on the front end, then I want to do that. I just want to be available. But the other number when it comes to enrollment is retention. So we don't want you simply to come here for a semester and leave, or a year and then leave. We want you to stay. We want you to belong, right? Part of our strategic plan: belong, discover, serve, excel. So that belong piece, we want you to come here, find your people, find your place, and really find a home. So when you come here, we want you to stay. So we need to tick that retention number up. And so we need to, again, leverage the president's office, work together, come up with creative strategies to impact that. So that's the enrollment piece and budget piece. That's the numbers. We need to be good stewards of our finances, and we need to focus on students, getting more and keeping them. And then the names. One of the things that I try to be is relational. I love to have cups of coffee with people. I'm just built to where I'd rather sit down and hash things out than text or email. If you've got questions, you've got problems, you've got something you want to ask. Hey, my office door is open. I think it's usually open now. I haven't started down in that office, but my office door is open. I love to go to lunches and have coffee. So let's do that. Let's just build relationships on campus with faculty and staff to be a supporter of them, get to know them, pray for them, encourage them in their work. Our friends around the community, get to know them, encourage them, tell the story of what's going on here. So that's the names piece, is just being relational, being present, being in the lives, and supporting, championing the people that make up the SBU family, both here now on campus, our alumni, our friends, and beyond. So that's the numbers piece. And you've got a big part to play in that, right? And when it comes to the enrollment side, I mean, you're vice president of enrollment. So
yes, I do.
So working together, though, I think, and that's exciting because we've become friends since we've been here 3.5 years. Yeah. So we get to work closely together on those things. But numbers, names, and then next, right? You mentioned earlier, we don't want to lose momentum. Yeah. We can't afford to take a year off and just spin our wheels while the trustees figure out who the next president is. we need to keep moving the ball forward. Now, on some things like the campus master plan, do we just set it on a shelf and not talk about it? And I think the feeling is, no, we're not going to do that. We may have to change gears. We may not move as fast as we had hoped. We may not go as far in the campus master plan this year as maybe some had thought we would. But by God's grace, who knows? Maybe we go further than we can imagine.
Yeah.
But maybe we have to change gears there. But we still want to continue to talk about the future of campus here in Bolivar. We want to talk about the future of our campus in Springfield and Mountain View and Salem and online. We want to make sure that the future is still part of the conversation. We're not going to stop dreaming. We're not going to stop thinking about what's next. What's next for the strategic plan? People may not know this, but several years ago, there was a strategic plan that was approved by the Board of Trustees. Dr. Manley had done a lot of work on this. Other staff members have done a lot of work on this. And it's built around that belong, discover, serve, excel. It has key performance indicators, KPIs tied to it. So what's next there? How do we keep working on this strategic plan? So some of those things we need to keep thinking about the future of the institution. So I don't want us to stop dreaming. I don't want us to stop thinking about tomorrow. We've got to focus on today, and we've got to maybe slow down in some certain areas as we wait on God's person, whoever that's going to be, to lead this place long term. Maybe slow down, but not stop. So numbers, budget, enrollment, names. Let's build relationships with our people. Let them know that what's going on here. And what's next? Let's keep thinking in appropriate ways about the future.
Yeah. And you've put a banner kind of above all of that, talking about being rooted and being ready. So rooted, knowing who we are. We know our unapologetically Christ-centered is not changing. So we are rooted. We want students to be rooted in that. And then we are ready for what's next. We want to prepare students to be ready for what's next. And then I'm taking some of that as we talk about recruiting and messaging, the idea of being ready. We've used ready to lead has been a lot of our messaging the last few years. And so there's an element of that I want to keep, of being ready for whatever, to whatever. But another thing that we just keep hearing and seeing is this idea of students wanting authentic. They want real. We talk about formation. Right. Maturity takes time. So there's an experience that we want to lean into here that is authentic and real. And so this kind of messaging that you may see in addition to what Jonathon was talking with numbers, names, and next, rooted and ready. And then we're going to try to lean into ready for real, or you deserve, as a student, you deserve real mentorship, real opportunity, real community. So just in an age of AI, in an age of many fake things, we want to emphasize the real, the authentic that we have on campus. So a lot of these things are going to tie together, and then we're going to all work real hard to get that word out, have it resonate with people, not just prospective students and families, but donors and alumni. We want to continue to bring more and more people into the fold to be excited about what we're doing over this next year.
Love it. Yeah, the rooted piece for me is most of what you do in life flows out of who you are, right? Jesus tells us, right, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? That sort of thing. So who are we? We know who we are. SBU knows who they are. Our confessional document tells us theologically who we are. Our philosophy of education tells us what type of educational institution we are. We are not merely granting degrees or preparing people for vocation, although that's important. We're shaping holistic individuals ready for the world. Yep. So knowing who we are, and then that out of that identity you act, right? So ready to act, ready, whether it's ready to lead or ready to be a mom or ready to be a dad or ready to be a doctor or ready to be a business person, ready to be an evangelist, ready to be a pastor, ready, whatever it is that God calls you to, we want to prepare you to step into that out of an identity of who you are. So we know who we are. As an institution, we're ready for tomorrow. We better be ready because classes start next week. Welcome week is not this weekend, but next. Students are back. Football team is back. Coaches better be ready to practice and to coach. Professors better be ready to teach, right? We have to be ready to do our jobs. And we are. We've not sat around this summer and just put our feet up. Faculty were here yesterday, meeting. They're ready for their classrooms. They're excited for their classrooms. Res Life staff ready to lead. They're back. They're going on a retreat today, and so they're ready to do their jobs. So we're ready, and us being ready, we hope will help students be ready for the world.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, we will get back on a rhythm of episodes and recordings throughout the semester. We got some great chapel speakers that we'll want to bring on more faculty and staff for people to meet them as we go through. So we'll be back in a rhythm. We're back in our new space, which is super exciting.
This is great.
I know there was some stuff happening behind me. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, there are people walking. People are working. Right. It is 8:27 in the morning. People are here. I just saw our director of residence life, which in this interim period, he'll be the executive director of res life or of campus life. He'll kind of take over some of my responsibilities to free me up. But they're getting ready to leave for a retreat this morning where our res life team gets away and they pray together and think about how to make an impact on students in the dorms. So people are working, moving. Yeah. Campus is alive.
Yeah. Exciting. Well, excited for what's next. Thankful for you being here and stepping into the new role. And, again, we said it, thankful for Dr. Melson and what he's done to get us to this point. And we just, want to take the baton and steward it well.
Amen.
So we will see you all next time.